Hello, my name is Elena, and I love going to the libraries. So I've decided that I will share this joy with the people in the internet so that you can feel it too. Okay, so today I'm returning several books. First book is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. This is a science fiction books. This is the science fiction book. It's about space, aliens, spaceships, space travel. Not my cup of tea at all, but an amazing book. I enjoyed reading it. I finished it, which doesn't happen often, and I enjoyed every single page of it. Now, the reason why I enjoyed it so much is because a guy wakes up in space. No, a guy wakes up and he has no idea what's going on. He doesn't know where he is, what's going on. He feels he has some skills, but he doesn't know how they apply to his specific situation. And then pretty much he figures it out throughout the entire book of what has happened to him, why it happened. Amazing story. I really liked it. I liked it not for the science fiction bit, but for that aspect of experience that we got to share with the protagonist. And yeah, just a great read. Now, the next book that I finished is called The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. So, books about time travel is something that I really like. This is probably one of my all-time favorite tropes. And I really enjoy a good book about time travel. But I don't think this is one. I think the mechanism of time travel is weird. So what this book is about, a woman commits suicide and she finds herself in the library where each book is some kind of version of her life. Now, this bit is fantastic. And on Goodreads, you can see that many reviews start from the words, this could have been an amazing book. And I absolutely agree, because that part is amazing. But what happens next is just, Because when she opens the book and when she goes into a version of her life, she goes as herself. So, for example, in one of her lives, she is a rock star and she has to perform in front of many dozens of thousands of people. Like, she has no recollection how she got there. She doesn't know her band members. She doesn't know the songs that they sing. And like, she's thrown into that situation just to what? To do what? I mean, the amount of cringe in this book was just overwhelming. I mean, the reason why author did it is because at the end she figured out that whichever life she would choose, it would still be not her life, because she would miss out on experiences, and therefore I will spoil this to the end because I don't want you to read it. And then she kind of returns to her original life and she figures out that that's what this is about. But no. This was done badly. I cringed so bad. The only reason I finished it is because I was stupid enough to suggest it for our book club. We have a neighbor's book club in our state. And it was my turn, and I suggested this book because I like book on time travels, and this had a lot of promise. I honestly regret it. I'm looking forward to hearing what people have to say, but I returned this without any sorrows. I feel very proud that I actually finished it, because without the book club, I would drop it probably 1/3 in, just because the mechanism of that time travel is so weird. Just no. There are way better books on time travel than this one. I've picked up my book, but before I tell you what it is, I want just to share the process so that you understand my experience. So I'm at home in my pajamas. I'm watching different booktube videos, and I find the books that I'm interested in. and then I add them to a list on my library's website. And then that list is like 200 books long. And then when I need a new book, or I have a pile of books at home, I can order in the library. I can have on loan up to 10 books, and then I can order a few more. So I watch my list, and when I see that my pile at home gets smaller, I look through the 200 items and I order a book from the library. And then I have no idea when is it going to come, because it might be on loan by someone else. There might be a queue. I might wait for months for that book, or I might get it within a few days. So that adds an element of game to this whole process, which I really enjoy. And of course, if I really need a book, or if I really want to read something ASAP, I always buy books. So library is not my only source of books, but library is the source of enjoyment in my fiction process, because I read a lot of non-fiction books as well, but I actually purchase them because I need to make notes and stuff. But with the fictionary books, I don't make notes. So yeah, that's what the process looks like. Now this book is called In the Woods by Tana French. So Tana French is a Dublin author. I think she's a Dublin author, and I think the what's going on here is actually happening in Dublin. And this is why I really wanted to start reading this book, because one of my most all-time favorite series of books is by Robert Gilbreth, which is actually J.K. Rowling, I think, and that's about Strike and Robin, and I can highly recommend you that series if you haven't read that. And I've never experienced anything like that series before. I understand that, you know, it's quite unique, but I really like the atmosphere there, the vibe, and I hope maybe Tana French has something similar, because it's very popular and it's a series, like it's more than one book. So this is book one, and that's why I borrowed it. So I have very high hopes and big expectations from Mrs. or Miss, I don't know, Tana French. I'm coming back from Dublin Tech Summit, and I just wanted really quickly to show you a book that I've purchased. It's called Neuroscience of Manifesting. Now, the reason why I bought it is professional, because I help people and organizations go through changes. I'm a founder of Transformation and Change Agency, and this is the only reason why I can afford time and energy to do this type of videos, because if I ever have to go back to corporate work, I will never ever find time for anything like this. So I help organizations go through change, and they never have a problem with their desired state. And since I started to work with individuals, some people can easily connect with where they want to be with their desired state, but some other people really struggle. So I, of course, decided to look into the kind of scientific aspect of it rather than, I don't know, spiritual. So Neuroscience of Manifesting was the talk by Dr. Sabina Brennan, and I decided to purchase the book. I will be sharing my insights on it when I get to read it. I have a long list of books that I want to read for my professional work, so this will join the list. Hello everyone, I'm heading to the library again, mostly to return the books that I've borrowed for my daughter, and she didn't want to read. She's 11 years old, didn't even start. Loved it, read, this is book number 4, she's reading book number 5, and did not want to read, even though her classmates are reading it, and she didn't want to read it. So I'm going there to return her books, and also to return one of my books. So I'm returning Dark Matter from Blake Crouch. Blake Crouch can be confidently called one of my favorite authors now. So I've read his Recursion, which is a recent book, and I've now read The Dark Matter. And I think that his ability to combine speed of events in the book with the intensity of feelings that our protagonist experiences is absolutely marvelous. And I enjoyed reading every single page of this book. I didn't want to put it down. I was looking forward to reading when I read this book, and this is what I'm looking for when I read. I want the book to be engaging. I want it to be captivating. I wanted to have a meaning, and Blake Crouch delivers. I do have to say that I enjoyed Recursion a little bit more than Dark Matter, but I think that just because Recursion was written later, and it just makes sense that he knows how to do it a little bit better and with a bit more depth. But yeah, absolutely, Dark Matter is a great book. However, if you only start to read Blake Crouch, I would recommend Recursion to you. Now, after this book, I started to read The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I'm not returning it because I'm still halfway through. The reason I'm showing it is to complain. Come on, it's my channel, right? I have the right to complain. Now, Song of Achilles is one of the most captivating stories in the entire world, right? It's Greek myth. It's a retelling of a Greek myth. And it's very popular. This is the anniversary 10th edition or 10-year-old edition, I don't know, but like you see, this is like a celebratory edition, and on Goodreads there are plenty of 5-star reviews of people who really enjoyed the story, who quote different sentences from this story. My challenge with it is that I don't think it's engaging, which is crazy thing to say about a Greek myth. When I was a teenager, I read a lot of Greek myths. I was chasing them. I was borrowing books from the library. I was looking for different versions of the myth. I was looking for a more full and complete versions. And I have a good understanding how engaging that read can be. Again, maybe when I was a teenager, it was more engaging than now, but the challenge that I have with this book now is that I don't want to follow the protagonist, Patroclus. I just don't want to follow him anymore. And like, he is the main character of this book. He is watching he's a friend of Achilles, well, actually a lover of Achilles. So like, what's the word? They have a word, like companion, sworn companion. And I just don't like him. And author did nothing for me that I would actually like his company. For me, reading a book is like listening to somebody telling a story, and there are many reasons what can go wrong. And in this kind of book, I feel that the story is interesting, but the person telling this story, and I don't mean necessarily the author, I mean the main character of the book, he is just unengaging, boring. He is, I don't care what his next step would be. I do care what happens to Achilles, but the main guy is just boring. I can't feel what he feels. Maybe that's because he feels nothing, or maybe because I was not shown by the author what he really feels. But it's just such a huge disappointment. And I saw a few people on Goodreads share the same opinion as I have. So typically I would drop the book with such unengaging protagonist, but I've decided to finish it. And this actually slowed down my entire reading, because I would pretty much prefer anything else to reading this book. So I've watched 3 Netflix TV shows over the last week just to not read. I, by the way, want to tell you which TV shows I watched. So one of them was called Sirens, which I think is weird, you know, like some books now are weird, like we don't really understand what they wanted to say. Like I think that's what happened with Sirens. It's a beautiful like it's beautiful visually, but I don't understand what authors wanted to say with this story. And then I watched two different detective kind of stories. So one of them is called Department Q. This is a very new TV show. It's based in Scotland, and it's how a police officer solves a crime that was done 4 years ago. And then the other TV show is called, I think, Unforgotten or something like that. That's about very old historical crimes and how they impact people even all those years after, like 20, 30 years after, and how they're solved by a police officer. So Unforgotten is not a new show. I've watched two seasons of them some time ago, and over the last week, I've watched third and fourth seasons, which I enjoyed immensely. Again, because I enjoyed the whole plot and I wanted to follow the main characters, and kind of, yeah, those stories were told well through the format of television, of Netflix series, and this story is not engaging, which I'm very disappointed. But I'm not returning it to the library today because I just want to finish it, just want to get over with. And yeah, the reason why I want to finish it is because I really want to read the next book, which is Circe. I really hope it's better, but do tell me if it's the same, because I wouldn't even try then. But I just for some reason hope that maybe, I don't know, why do I hope? I mean, clearly it's the author who just doesn't get what I need from a book. Again, there are hundreds of thousands of people who enjoy it, so I'm not gonna argue that the book is not good. It's just I don't want to listen to that unengaging way of retelling it. So if Circe is the same, can you please tell me so that I will skip it? Let's go to the library now. The book that I picked up from the library is by Sarah J. Maas, and it's called Crescent City. It's a first book out of trilogy, I think. House of Earth and Blood it's called. And Sarah J. Maas, I don't need to tell you who she is. She's an extremely popular author, and I think she has now 3 different series of books. I tried to read one of them, Court of Thorns and Roses or something like that, and I just couldn't get into that vibe. I don't know why, it just wasn't the right time probably. Can you hear the rain, by the way? Let me show you. I'm in the rain. Anyway, so I tried to read her Court of something, and I know it's supposed to be really, really good. It just, I can't get into it yet. And I read an annotation about this book, which is supposed to be not as good as Court of something, but I liked the annotation more. And it's a fantasy book. It's many, many pages, so it must be a page turner. It must have a captivating plot for me to read through it. If it doesn't have one, I will have to let go of it. So this is the beauty of borrowing the books from the library, that you can let go of books that don't serve you well without any regrets. So yes, I'm really looking forward to trying out this book by Sarah J. Maas, because fantasy is my genre. I love it. I've been reading it for decades, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I need to return a few books to the library, and we have a lot to talk about. So first book that I'm returning is Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I read the first half of it, I told you about it, and then I read diagonally within one evening the second part of it, just to know the plot and just to kind of know how it ends. Just a few tips, like I already complained on that book, so I didn't change my mind. Just a few tips for those who might want to read it. So first of all, I wanted to abandon this book after first chapter, and why I didn't is because I went to AI and I asked AI to make me a list of all the characters in the book and who their sons or daughters or parents of, and also where they're from, if they're kings, or like what's their heritage, or any notes, like for example mentor, etc. So that list, see, it's long, but that list helped me to get through the beginning of the book, where there were many names and not much explanation. Like explanation came later, but it was very hard to read. So I used that sheet to help myself go through the book. But overall, I can't recommend it, because for me there should be two parts of the book. First of all is vector. We're kind of going in some direction. In here, the vector was that Achilles was born to be the best warrior. He never trained to be the best warrior. He never made any effort to become the best warrior in the world. So he was born to be the best warrior, and then his only job was to choose which war to fight. And yeah, I don't really buy that story. But not just that, I need to understand the experience of characters in the book, and this part wasn't shown here at all. So this book has no feelings. I think this book might be appealing to some type of audience. It's just I'm not them. The next book I'm returning is In the Woods by Tana French, and I actually want to read you something from this book, just because I was just blown away. This summer explodes on your tongue, tasting of chewed blades of long grass, your own clean sweat, Marie biscuits with butter squirting through the holes, and shaken bottles of red lemonade picnicked in tree houses. Can you taste this? Can you feel this? Can you smell this? This is what I'm looking for in the books. This is what I'm talking about. I need to understand how it smells, how it feels. I need to understand all the references. I need to get it, and not every author has this goal to help me get it. So what this book is about is a detective mystery, is a murder mystery story. I almost abandoned reading it. I went into it blind. I didn't know what it is about, and then turned out that it was about child murder, which is like this topic. I can't deal with that topic. So I again stopped reading for a few days. I just took my time to decide what I want to do, and then I wanted to read just a few pages further, and turns out I kind of can deal with this specific book, but yeah, with many books where authors just give all the details, all the violence specifics, I can't deal with that. But in here there was some of that, but not much, and I could deal with the violence that was shown us here. This book got a lot of criticism because there were actually two mystery stories, and I will give you a spoiler here that one mystery gets resolved and the second one we never find out what happened. And I don't mind. See, I really don't mind, because what I need from the book is two things: vector and feelings. This definitely has a vector. We tried to figure out what has happened, which kind of, for me, it's all it takes. We at least are on a journey to figure out. And then number two, I really understood what characters were all about, especially the main character in the book. I walked this entire journey in his shoes. I felt his pain. I felt his hesitation. Did I like him? No. Do I think he's a nice guy? I think he desperately needs therapy. So everything he got criticism for on Goodreads is a result of his trauma. And like, if he would be a real person, he would benefit tremendously from seeing a therapist. But the read was incredibly enjoyable. This is one of the best books by Irish authors I've ever read. The language is like music, like a poem. Like, the language is amazing. Tana French has all my respect as an author. She gets it, what I want to get from a book. Like, she absolutely gets it. There is a vector, there is a feeling. I get what the character is going through. So absolutely, this book is a yes from me, and it can be a recommendation for you if you're okay with like with child murder being the main mystery here. And then book number 3 that I'm returning here is Complete Fairy Tales by Charles Perrault. Sorry, I don't know how to read that. So the story here is that many times I've heard that the fairy tales as we know them are incomplete, and in reality many fairy tales have this dark side to them. For example, in Cinderella, sisters don't just try on the boots, they actually cut part of their feet to fit in the boots. So for some reason I got very curious, and I wanted to find out what was the full story. Where can I find the full story and the full fairy tale? So in an attempt to do that, I booked this book from the library, and also I've booked this book from the library as well, which is a complete illustrated works of the brothers Grimm. And I was lucky to find this one on a book sale and actually buy it for a very small price. So I cancelled my reservation and I ended up borrowing just this book from the library. Now, I need to tell you that I didn't read all the fairy tales because I do a lot of bedtime reading for kids, and I don't need to read fairy tales for my own leisure, but I did read the Cinderella story here, and no, this is not the full one. So this is still a very childish and incomplete, like adapted version of the fairy tale, while in here, in the book that I ended up owning it's actually like it's dark. It has references to death, it has references to, like, the Cinderella story is complete. One sister cuts off her toes and the other one cuts off her heels to fit into that boot so that Prince would take her back to the castle. So yeah, if you're like me and you're looking for a full fairy tale, it's this one, the complete illustrated works of the brothers Grimm. I can't say I recommend them because, like, you need to be really curious, like I am, to actually find out. But I'm surprised how many fairy tales are here. And see, it's text, teeny tiny illustrations, but mostly text. So it will take me a while to read them, but for some reason sometimes I just want to read a fairy tale, and I wanted to read like the fuller version, not just the children adaptation of them. I've picked up 3 books, and funny enough, all 3 of them are by Greek authors, and the reason for it is because I'm starting my own personal journey of reading through Europe. I've decided that I've read plenty, way more than enough literature that was written originally in English. I've read a lot in my native languages, and I now want to expand my understanding of what people read in different European countries, what people read, enjoy, what are the bestsellers. Not like historically, like in 80s of last century, but like recently, last 10-15 years. So first country that I want to explore just as part of this project is Greece. And I did a lot of research, what people read in Greece and what they enjoy. So I will tell you all about that in a separate video. Hopefully I'll get to record that for you as well. But so far I'm picking up Good Will Come from the Sea by Chrēstos Oikonomou. By the way, if there are any Greek people watching me, tell me if they're really popular in Greece, because I'm trying to read something by Greek authors that was translated into either English or Ukrainian. So that's not an easy challenge. So Good Will Come from the Sea. The Jasmine Isle by Ioanna Karystiani, a modern love story told with the force of an ancient Greek tragedy. And then Petros Markaris is offering the Late Night News, and apparently it's a series, so I think it's the first book in a series, and apparently he's very, very popular. To my shame, I've never heard of this author, and this is the whole point of this project. I want to know what's out there in non-English speaking countries, what's out there, what's popular, what's worth my time and interest. So yeah, I'll let you know.